the world is an evil, villainous place, right? It's full of people who do things that hurt other people.
Welcome to my channel. I'm the Reactions, where every time you come on my channel, you're going to get this truth. Today, I will be doing a reaction video talking about how Satan is in rulership of this world system. But the good news is God is ultimately in control. I also want to give shout outs to Julian Podcast. I will be reacting to one of his videos. So if you guys want to see the rest of his video, please don't be afraid to go over there, give him a like, and also subscribe. So you already know what it is. Sit back, relax, and let's dive into it.
Welcome to the Mysterious Stranger.
What?
So before I go more into this clip right here, I added in this clip because it corresponds well with the subject matter that I'm going to be talking about pertaining to this reaction video. This clip is actually from Mark Twain. It's actually a classic, but I digress. Let's get into it.
Hello. Who are you? An angel.
What's your name?
Satan. Uh-oh. What's the matter?
Nothing. Only it's sure a sorry name for an angel.
Please, come in. Magician. Come on.
You said this moment where you kind of flipped over was when it was before CIA, right?
Correct.
This is right when you're leaving the academy. Yeah, I think about that line a lot that you had in episode 107 with me. I mention it all the time, where you're just like, we were going back and forth on whether things are all good or all bad, and talked about this for like 10, 15 minutes. And I was trying to paint some examples, obviously, as someone who's not been out in the field like you, and you're like, I've lived that. You have not lived that. And like, I could almost see you like hallucinating above your body, because then like you went into this zone. I don't think the camera does it justice, but like you had this look in your eye where you were re-seeing all these things, talking about the worst examples of the worst things that human beings do to other human beings. And it really affected me, because it's like, it does put things in perspective. That's one of the nice things about this show. I sit in a podcast studio, but I have people from around the world come in here and sometimes tell me some things that, are harsh realities, if you will. But what I'm curious about is, if at any point throughout your CIA career, when you were seeing some of said things, if you wavered in your faith, or thought that, maybe this is all bullshit, because why the fuck would I live in a world where X happens?
So, no, it's actually the other way around. My time at CIA made me that much more confident in my faith, because I saw the principles of the Bible lived all over the world.
Can you explain that?
So one of the things that you learn in the Bible is that, we live in a fallen world.
So I'm about to go ahead and pause the video right there, because I 100% agree with him. We do live in a fallen world. And so I'm going to use the scriptures from out of the Bible to actually prove exactly what he's talking about. So I'm going to start from out of the book of Genesis, and then after that, I'm going to go to the book of Romans. So I'm going to start with Genesis chapter 2, verse 16. It clearly states, "And the Lord commanded the man, you are free to eat from any tree of the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. For when you eat from it, you will certainly die." Then I'm going to go ahead and skip down to Genesis chapter 3, verse 6. And this is actually going to recapture the moment of when Adam and Eve actually went against what God told them not to do. It clearly states, Genesis chapter 3, verse 6. "When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took it and ate it. She also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it." See, sin came into the world when Adam disobeyed God, right? God gave the command to Adam. It was Adam's responsibility to teach Eve, and apparently he didn't teach her well enough. And also when she ate from it, she was also able to persuade him to eat from it, right? And How do I know that sin came into the world because of Adam? Because if we go to Romans chapter 5, verse 12, it clearly states this. Therefore, as sin entered the world through one man, not two men, it says, therefore, just as sin entered the world through one man, and death through sin, and in this way, death came to all people because all sin. So because of Adam's wrongdoing, right, it created a soon to be physical death and then also a spiritual death. And when I did the proper research on what spiritual death is, well, spiritual death means separation from God. And separation from God means living in a sinful state, physically, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. But I digress.
We live in a fallen world. We live in a world that's controlled by Satan. We live in a world where the enemy is the most powerful being on the planet, right? God is waiting for us somewhere else. The Holy Spirit is here with us to help guide us and lead us. But God doesn't claim to control the earth. He has sent his son so that his son can have cleaned our sin forever.
So I'm about to go ahead and stop this video right here. Let me cook for a second, family, because there is one thing that I do agree with him on, and then there is one point that he made that I disagree with him on. But that's okay. We're not going to agree on every single thing. But however, I do think that he is making some very great points here. The thing that I disagree with him on is that he said that Satan is the most powerful being on the planet. In reality, I didn't put it inside of the notes, right? Which is I should have. But if you go to Philippians 4:13, it clearly states, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. And what that's basically saying is that through Christ, I can do anything that I put my mind to, right? I can do anything that I want to do through Christ. I also put right here in the notes, it says the Spirit of God is stronger than Satan. We know this because if we go to 1 John chapter 3, verse 8, it clearly states Jesus came to destroy the devil's work, a work accomplished through the power of the Spirit in believers. Also, if we go to the book of Luke chapter 10, verse 18 and 19, it clearly states, he said to them, I watched Satan fall from heaven like lightning. I have given you the authority to trample over snakes, scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy. Nothing at all will harm you. So what is that saying? It's saying that God himself has given you the power, right? Once you accept his son, once you accept Yahuwah, right? Then God will give you the power to conquer the enemy. So what is that saying? That is saying literally that the Spirit of God, what God gives you, is stronger than Satan himself. One thing that I do agree with him on, though, is when he said that God has sent the Son to help cleanse our sins forever, right? And it clearly states that in the book of John 3:16. It says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whoever should believe in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. But let's go ahead and continue with the video.
That his son can have cleaned our sin forever. God is not really interested in the earth. God is interested in the universe and the individual souls that choose to join him, right? There's, it may have been Ian or somebody else that helped me on my faithful journey. And there were 3 or 5 of them that were really important in my faithful journey at the academy. Once explained to me this idea of, the earth is a ball and Satan is a Rottweiler, and Satan controls that ball. We are his plaything, right? The enemy, if you will. But the Rottweiler is on a leash, and the leash is held by God. So he gets to play with the earth as much as God lets him play with the earth. But otherwise, we're just stuck on this thing. Right?
God lets him do it.
Because God is the one that's in ultimate control.
And what do you think of that?
For me, it's very liberating. Because for me, it shows me how small I am. Yeah. It shows me how big the enemy is, which is what I need to know. Because guess what 95% of my day is filled with? Temptation to do the wrong thing. And everybody listening is in the same fucking boat.
Yeah.
That's what fills our day.
Yes.
Temptation to do the wrong thing, not motivation to do the right thing, right? So it makes sense. I like that visual understanding of, big scary dog. I'm on a fucking ball. I can't beat that dog. Dog's going to do whatever the hell it wants to with me. But life doesn't end here. There's something bigger than the dog. right? So when I get chewed, swallowed, and shat out the back end of that Rottweiler, like that's the end. That's when I have the chance to actually join the Father. For me, it's a very comforting idea. Traveling, operating, meeting people around the world, you learn very fucking fast the world is a fallen place. You learn very fast Satan is in control. You learn very fast people accept, adhere, follow, obsess with
Satan's in control.
with their temptations, right? You find that everywhere. You see it, it's crystal clear. You can't fight it. You have to accept it. And then you learn a lot about yourself by seeing all the villainy of the world. The world is an evil, villainous place, right? It's full of people who do things that hurt other people. That's what it is.
You've said this before. You're like, human beings are not good.
No.
But like, and my comeback to that is, yes, there are evil people in the world, and there are more than we would like to think. There's no doubt about that. Whatever got them there, it's a separate story, but like, that's a real thing. But then there are also good people too, and you seem to operate from the assumption, and correct me if I'm wrong here, that like, no, that's not really the case. Most of them are just bad, and they're gonna be more likely to do bad things.
It's just a matter of what inputs will push them to a bad place. That's all it is, right? What inputs would get you to a place where you'd kill another person? What inputs would get you to a place where you'd steal from somebody else?
So I'm about to go ahead and pause the video right here because there's two things that I want to address before I go ahead and let you guys go. I do agree with him on this, that Satan is the ruler of this world, but God is ultimately in control. So I'm going to start from out of the book of John, chapter 14, verse 29 through 31. It clearly states, I have told you now before it happens so that when it does happen, you may believe. I would not talk to you much longer because the ruler of this world is coming. He has no power over me, on the contrary, so that the world may know that I love the Father. I do as the Father commanded me. We can also go to the book of 1 John, chapter 5, verse 19. We know that we are of God, and the whole world is under the sway of the evil one. Who is the evil one? It's talking about Satan and Satan's army. But the good news is this, guys, is that God is ultimately in control. And I have the scriptures to back this up. This is not what I'm saying, but this is actually what the scriptures say. From out of the book of 1 John chapter 4, verse 4, it says, you are from God, little children, and you have conquered them because the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. We can also go to the book of Isaiah chapter 46, verse 9. Remember what happened long ago, for I am God and there is no other. I am God and no one is like me. And I really love these two verses right here because it talks about that the Spirit of God that is inside of you when you start walking with Christ, right, is going to be stronger than any external forces that may come your way. Also, I like the book of Isaiah chapter 46 verse 9 because that's talking about how God is the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning, the end. There is no other God that is comparable to the God of the Bible. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it right there, and I hope that you guys learned a lot. You already know what it is. Peace.